Time, time, da 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 da. Let freedom ring over the lift every voice.
It took 15 years after legislation was passed in 1996 authorizing Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated to build the Martin Luther King Jr National Memorial. This monumental tribute is situated on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., and it is located on the northwest corner of the Tidal Basin. Its address is 1964 Independence Avenue in Washington, D.C. And this is a significant address, for it is a direct correlation to the 1964 Voting Rights Act, which King played a key role in achieving.
Let it resound loud as you and see.
My name is Pleasant Broadnax. I live here in Washington, D.C., or actually Northern Virginia. I practice law in Washington and in Virginia. I'm a member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, pledged at Hampton Institute, the Gamma Iota chapter. Back after the Martin Luther King bill was passed, there were some fraternity brothers in Montgomery County, Maryland, who decided that it would be a good thing for there to be a recognition of Dr. King on the mall. And they set upon trying to raise money and find a site and talk to the appropriate authorities to determine whether there could be a monument to Dr. King on the mall. He is the only African American who has been recognized on the mall, and the only person who is not a U.S. president who has a memorial on the mall as well. It was very moving to me. It was the weekend that the fraternity had the celebration, the commemorative service. I went down late one night, maybe about 11 o'clock or so, and things had quieted down a bit, but there was still quite a few people there, and it was a very moving experience. He's looking across the Tidal Basin at the Jefferson Memorial.
Over 1,900 worldwide applicants came and bid on the rights to design this monumental tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. And what happened was the design was awarded with the presence and spirit of King being embodied. There are three integral parts. First, you have the Mountain of Despair, then the inscription wall, and finally the Stone of Hope. It is all surrounded by 182 cherry blossom trees that do bloom every April on the anniversary of King's death. What a beautiful tribute when you come and view this spectacular view and get a presence and a feeling that Martin Luther King is still here with us and his legacy continues. What was sought in the development for this memorial is bringing out the values, the passion, spiritual truths, message of hope, theme of unconditional love and forgiveness, justice, equality, peace, courage, and reconciliation. All feel this when they come and visit this site.
My name is Tasha Murph. I live in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I'm here at the Martin Luther King Memorial built in Washington, D.C. And it means a lot to see this because I remember hearing stories of the Civil Rights Movement. It was my parents' era, and hearing the stories about the segregation and just all the things that minorities had to go through. And it's nice to see that we finally have something to remember the struggle. So even though we've gotten better, this is just to remind us of where we once were and how far we've come.
There have been many years and many tears, stony pathways that many have walked for the fight to freedom.
My name is Tracy Tabb. I'm 46 years old, and I reside just outside of Washington, D.C. It's moving to see this monument here, and it's so important because there's so many visitors to this city every year, and it's very important that people come down and see this memorial. I know people have heard stories and whatnot, but to actually come down and see some of the writings on the wall and to just experience this place, it's very moving. And you just have to remember that Martin Luther King Jr. stood for not only black rights, but human rights. He was for all people, all races, all creeds, all colors. And it's a marvel what the world would be like today if it hadn't been for him. I can't think of what life would be like for me today if Dr. King hadn't marched and the countless other people hadn't marched with him, where I would be, the things I would have to do, struggle with, go through. It's awesome to just think of that, and to be here at this memorial is wonderful.
Martin Luther King was very pivotal in the fight for rights of minorities, and it's quite a sight to see, very breathtaking, and everything that we've gone through as a race, and then we still continue to go through, and this is just a reminder of the fact that we cannot give up, can't give up hope. We've come a long way in the 21st century, but we still have a ways to go.
We do still have a long ways to go, and hope is still springing forth eternally through the words and the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we're so glad that this country has honored him by erecting this spectacular monument for all to view. And you can still hear the echoing of his message in I Have a Dream.
Sisters and brothers, I have a dream today. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let I rejoicing.
One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. From every mountainside, let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spirit. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we have